All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we are. We're waiting on Vilma to come back from the latrine, the ladies' room. And we're going to do a go live here, and I'm actually recording this, and we're going to jump on a subject that is near and dear to our hearts. We are obviously a lot on the road for those who follow us and for those who do not follow us. We are a husband and wife team that travel the United States, and we go everywhere. We do things like remote location shoots, exotic shoots for our clients. We shoot for designers, that's clothing designers, jewelry designers, and also shoe designers. We take stuff out to places like the Salt Flats of Utah. Here she is. Salt Flats of Utah. Trying to kick the table there.
Should I put these on?
Yeah, you can put those on. And we do Fashion Week. Fashion Weeks are all over the United States. They usually start in February and September as well. Each Fashion Week location is a little bit different. You know, New York is different from LA, and Miami does more swimwear. You have Arizona. They're
Phoenix Fashion Week.
Phoenix Fashion Week. They're
or
also
Tempe Fashion Week.
Tempe Fashion Week. They're actually two separate ones, but they're all good. We do photo shoots for designers. We film for designers, and we are designers as well. What I have on right now is something that I designed. This starts off as a white material, and we have control over everything. And this design right here on my arm is from my daughter. She gave that to me as a birthday present. And
Lena Coleman.
Yes,
Check her
I'm gonna go ahead and let Vilma introduce herself, and go ahead and go, Vilma.
Hi, I'm Vilma Bellini, and sometimes Chuck calls me the brains of this operation, but I never agree with him because he's the brains over here. And what else can I say? I just turned 43 years old, and I'm living a dream life. I'm really living a dream, and thank you for making all this happen for me. I mean, I was done with everything, and I don't want to switch the topic, but I was done, and you brought me back to life, so thank you. And everything we have now, or everything I have now, is because of you. So
Whatever.
take the floor.
She doesn't need me. But anyway, just to give her a little introduction here. Thank you.
You guys on my Facebook Live, you cannot hear because whatever he's doing. Is there any way they can see?
They can hear everything.
No, on my live. I have Facebook Live going.
Oh, no, they can't.
How can
they can hear everything.
But my Facebook Live, how can they hear what?
They got to go to mine. And if you haven't wondered, back here behind me, this is one of Vilma's metal prints. And that metal print is basically, I think, is a 48 by 30. That one is. And this is a composite. What I mean by a composite is I took the picture in the street and I put another background behind it. Those lights in there are just the reflections of the lights that I have for us, so we can look beautiful. But getting back to today's topic.
I'm so sorry. And the hat is by David Campbell.
So today's topic is, how do you get someone on your team as a model? I'm going to basically kind of go over a little bit of what the modeling world is like. There's two different mindsets. There is a kind of a hobby, doing it for fun, trying to make it, and then those in the industry who have made it. And then there's Europe. In Europe, individuals there, they call modeling a coat hanger for someone else's product. So that means the individual is going out selling their another artist or a designer or a painter. They're selling their product. So that model is going in, talking to the designer, getting the look and feel of what she's going to present, and she presents that to them. What you'll find more relevant in the United States is women looking to appeal to photographers, so photographers can come in and help them increase and enhance their portfolio. So these two work together side by side, working out ways to have a portfolio that can actually, present that to someone. And I talk to a lot of parents, and I talk to a lot of mature people. I normally, from this day probably forward for about, I'd say probably about another year, will be totally away from shooting people 35 and below. And the reason for that is that I want to do this for, not for fun, but giving the fun and taking care of dreams that more mature women have. Mature women who already have a living, they, raise children, the perfect life, the house, the degree, everything. They are looking at being beautiful for a different reason than a woman is at 21, 22, up to 30, I believe. And when I mix these two together, what happens is that you have one that just wants to do it for fun, and you have the other who's trying to make a living. When I combine both of these together, what happens is that there's a huge conflict. The one that's trying to make it, she's very, overzealous when it comes to presenting herself, trying to, do the best because she's trying to make a living. Whereas the 40-year-old woman who is fit, she goes to the gym, everything is perfect, she has already entered a world that she's pretty comfortable with. Now she's just wanting to come back and have fun. And one trying to make a living, the other trying to have fun. These two don't clash. And the one that is more mature, is more of my speed because I do a lot of editing. I do a lot of, putting crazy backgrounds in, things that they can put on their wall like this behind us. So, go ahead.
On the other topic, I want to ask you a question.
Sure.
So, we just had a conversation this morning about, how different modeling is today from when I was just starting. I'm 43 now. I started when I was, about 19 years old. I've been with Ford models. And all I had to do to make money was to sign with an agency, and because they didn't have so many models in the agencies before,
Why is
even
that?
the smaller agencies, because they only worked with the best. But now the best is determined differently and measured differently. Before, the best was only by looking the best. Now you are measured by also how many followers you have. So you might not be the best, you may not have the best look for certain type of modeling, for example commercial, but you might be the best for the runway. And before, it used to not be the case. You had to be the best looking for everything. You had to be perfect, proportionate everywhere. And now if you have a huge following, if you have 1 million followers, 2, 3, 4 million followers, and you're 5'2", you can probably get in one of the biggest shows as in one special, person. Because if you have 4 million followers, that's how many potential buyers the designer has by putting you in a show. If you have 4 million followers and you say, this is my favorite designer, like check out his stuff, that's how many people potentially going to go and check out his brand.
So let's talk about this. The average girl that we speak to is trying to get a portfolio so some designer can hire them in their particular show. And they're basing everything off of how well they look.
And that's not the only thing. They're trying to fill the portfolio for supposedly a designer, but they haven't found a designer that is interested in them. They don't even know what a certain designer is looking for.
Why?
Because they I don't know why, but they're going at it backwards.
How?
Because if you need to fill your portfolio according to what the industry needs. You need to figure out what kind of model you want to be before you start building your portfolio.
So where do you think the disconnect is?
The disconnect is everybody's trying to put so many things in their portfolio, hoping that one of these things is going to make them just blow up, that somebody's gonna notice that one certain thing, that one certain photographer they shot with, or that one look or certain pose is gonna get them ahead of everybody else. And they're doing it backwards. They're creating the things that appeal to them. They never once go, even the photographer they're shooting with, they don't want to find out what they think is right or what the industry needs. They bring their own lingerie, they all swimsuits that they bought from different websites, and they bring you to that shoot, and then they take these pictures and they put it in the portfolio, and they keep going at it more and more, and they keep filling that portfolio with the stuff that's they think is better than the last one. It's gonna get me closer, get me closer. It never gets them closer because the industry is not looking for what's in your portfolio. You need to find out what the industry is looking for. For example, when you branded me in a certain niche as a certain model. I've been doing it for over 20 years as well. I've been with 4 models for many years. I've been multi-listed with many agencies. I've had $7,000 gigs. And I was nowhere. And I was nowhere, but 6 years ago, you changed my brand. Not you changed my brand, you made my brand. You made me. I didn't have a brand. How you did that is I stopped trying to look around what's fun and what everybody else is doing and try to do that also, to find somebody who's going to shoot me, try to find somebody who's going to be interested in my look, try to go to different auditions, trying to look like somebody else that I think they're looking for. For example, really quickly, I don't want to ramble. There was an audition that I was sent to by Ford Models, and it was for a video that you had to be when Madonna was coming, right? And you had to be like a backup dancer, and not on the stage, but there needed to be a promotional video, and you had to dance as one of Madonna's backup dancers in the audition. Well, I tried to dance. I tried somebody to help me teach me how to do the certain moves, like in that one video. I forgot what the video is. Something the best, something, whatever. So I tried, and I went there looking like somebody else, and of course I didn't get it. But my agent called me later, and usually they don't do that. She called me later. She said, "You tried so hard to match those steps that you saw on TV or on commercials, whatever, that her backup dancers did. You didn't do any of your own stuff, and I just tried to be somebody else. I was so uncomfortable, and they could see right through me."
So you went there and you tried to be someone else. You didn't stay in your lane. You didn't go in a direction that...
I didn't know my lane. I didn't know I had to have a lane.
And with your experience, not me kind of staying out of it, what do you see? Because we're everywhere. We're 300 days on the road, and we're everywhere. What do you see most girls doing? Do you see them walking in your footsteps that you did 20 years ago?
No, I don't expect them to walk in my footsteps from 20 years ago because things have...
How do you compare what they're doing?
You know what? How I compare is that one thing that hasn't changed is passion and believing in yourself. My mother, rest in peace, who was killed in a plane crash in 2011, she, I will miss her forever. My mom was my rock. I was 19 years old. She would take me to auditions. At 20, I had a child, I got back in shape after having a baby. 6 months later, my mother was taking me to auditions. She was leaving her own work to take me to auditions, to pay for the parking, to pay for the gas. Sometimes she would take me 2 hours away to go just for an audition that I would probably never get, and I didn't. I had the gigs that paid like $5,000-$7,000, but those gigs came a couple times a year, and that just wasn't enough, and the market was not so saturated then, so it wasn't as difficult. I'm pretty sure it's even harder to get those type of gigs nowadays. But my mother took me everywhere. My mother paid for my trips to go to certain not pageants, competitions. Like, I forgot what you call it, but there was an event where you pay $2,200 for a weekend event, and you saw all kind of like agencies for modeling, for acting, for all kind of different skills and talents. And I paid to get everywhere I wanted. I paid photographers, and I know there weren't so many photographers then, but even one of my very few of the first photographers that I still am connected with today, shout out to George Vincent from Chicago. George Vincent, I found him. I liked his photography. I wanted to work with him. I asked him for his rates. He gave me his rates. I paid him his rates. I also paid the makeup artist that he brought also to make me look good. I paid everybody. I also paid for extra images after that. And I even bought more images a year and 2 years later from him. So it was that important for me, and I really believe I am in a position today because certain things were so important for me.
So, but in today's world, what we see is, I don't pay photographers. I've never paid a photographer. I don't pay for anything, and I do trade for work. And here's what I see today. I'm going to break this down, then I'm going to move over into the exact topic while we're bringing this up. Is that most girls, they shoot with a certain amount of photographers in a certain circle. That means in that circle, the only people that see them that are in that circle. And they do this for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years. And within that circle, that circle changes very slow. And you really don't get the eyeballs because most of your designers and people that are looking for you are probably not in that circle, because if they were, you would be already working with them. And what I see is that they are trying to appeal to photographers, and then and when they speak to their parents or people that really respect them, they're not in that situation. Here's what I was getting at before. Your situation is a lot different than it was back then, because back then there was no social media. People were not marketing. You couldn't get on Facebook or Snapchat or Instagram or even what was the other one? MySpace or whatever it was. MySpace. You couldn't even get. You remember that?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, those places were not really real. There was AOL and dial-up modems back then. So,
I remember those.
You going out, your mother was helping you market, and you were going to real agencies. So therefore, your mother helped you go out there because she believed that there was a possibility. What I see missing in the industry today is there's not a lot of belief that an individual is really going to make it. A lot of more mature women, and this is the biggest reason that I separate the older women from the younger women, is because the older women are in a reality in their minds. They've already made it. They're not looking to be a model. So therefore, they're coming in to have fun. What they're doing is reality. Then you have the 20-something young lady who is 5'6", thinking that she can put on heels and be a runway model with no real following or portfolio and get there. What she doesn't understand, she has to pay to get there. You go to New York Fashion Week, you're not, unless you're somebody and you have millions of followers and you can influence somebody's direction.
Or you have a rich sugar daddy who is sponsoring your spot.
Or just someone else sponsoring your spot, getting there. You're not getting in there. And for the real shows there and not the pirated shows, you're going to have to meet, you have to be 5'10" and above.
Even for the smaller shows, you can pay to get in some shows, but I mean, you can get it. Actually, you have to pay in most of the shows to get in, but there are some shows who you can get in even for free. But like Chuck said, those shows don't progress. They don't go anywhere. Year after year, it's the same people going in a circle. There's about 50 people. A promoter, 20 designers, 20 photographers.
I don't want to bore people with all this. So I want to get down to the meat and potatoes of what we're get.
You're right.
Here's the deal. In today's world, we have, with all that said, we have come up with a solution to this problem. And here's what I think. We've been selling clothes for almost 6 years, creating them, selling them maybe for 2 years, I should say. But we've been in the clothing business, and we're pushing our product. The biggest thing that I get from models is, hey, I could market your stuff. I can rock your stuff. And when I listen to them, and I will say, you know what, I'm only one guy. And I'm not really looking for a bunch of people to market my product. What I'm looking at is building a product for you to sell yourself. So I'm going to get you to invest in yourself, and I will create you a line of sportswear, whatever the case may be, and I will give it to you and sell it. I'm not interested in it. I want to rock your product. And the first thing that pops into my mind is that if you can't even believe in yourself to sell it yourself, how are you going to sell it for me? And so what I am getting at is that I believe a parent, a sponsor, would take an individual more serious if they would go to them and say, hey, I want to start my own line. I believe in myself, and I'm going to go out there and do this. Could you help me, Mom, Dad?
Can I just add something really quickly?
Really quick.
I'm so sorry. So, for example, I think a lot of models don't realize that the models that they look up to, like Naomi Campbell and Gigi Hadid, that they have a product they're selling. They have their own products, own perfumes, own Fenty line, Rihanna. They have their own products they're selling. Why is it so important to sell a product nowadays for a model?
First of all, you got to get to your product, because no one is going to have you sell a Fendi or anything like that, and you don't have any track record of selling anything. What would someone, you sell your own product. It's it's your own line, but you're selling your own product. What's a model that sells nothing? How can a company say, I am going to give this person a shot because they look good, and I'm going to put my brand, my line, in this person's hand and let them sell it for me because they take beautiful images? They don't think that way. What they think is hey, look at this girl. She's out there. She has engagement. She has following. She has a lot of people chasing after her. We're selling perfume, and she has women, grandmothers, and all this following her. This is the person I want to hire because I want to get my product into her network.
But a lot of models don't know how to go about it. They think that getting to that runway show, walking on that runway, is going to get them to that brand who is going to say, oh my God, look at her. She can sell my product well, because they think the beauty is everything. They really still think that the beauty is everything.
I get that. Now let's throw that to the side. How do we get there? I don't want to talk how, what they're not doing, but I'm going to give them a solution of what to do and why I really believe it's important. I believe it is important for an individual to sell something, because how do you become believable? A person becomes believable when you believe in yourself. If you're giving away your photo shoots for free, that means you haven't put yourself in a position for people to demand you. And if people are not demanding you, you can't expect a company to demand you. You have to be in demand. And you cannot derive value from free. If you're going out and saying, well, I'm going to go out and have fun, fun is okay. But a business is very serious. They don't want to see people out there going and having fun. They want to see people working and grinding and pushing it. What's the young lady from the short-haired blonde girl from Chicago? That's our friend that we met in.
Gabi Aguzowskaite.
She is a rock star. Why? She's out there selling herself. We walk in Walmart in California. We see
her
New York,
face on makeup brands everywhere.
There, we go to LA and she stops.
Chicago, any state.
Anywhere you go, The difference between what she does and what the rest of the models do, she's not out there looking for acceptance from photographers. Most of the girls out there that I see are looking for an acceptance. So here's my solution to the parents. I want to talk to the parents. I want to talk to the people who have companies, the small business owners, the mothers, the fathers, the uncles, the great grandmothers, the grandmothers who see their daughter out there struggling. This is who I want to talk to right now, because I know you love your child. She's out there having fun, and I can hear you saying, "Oh, bless her heart." She's out there doing her thing. She'll grow out of it. But they don't say this to her. They just say it and let her go. So she's kind of on her own out there. For you grandmothers out there, here's the thing. If you really if you really believe in them, and if you really see something in them, that they need a chance to move forward in life, and you want to give them that opportunity, we can create a clothing line for them. We can design it, create it, and create a Shopify site, for them, or not us create it, but we can give you points in the right direction to get one done. And if this person is a real model their own product. This says a lot to an individual by, putting their money where their mouth is. If they're saying they are a model presents someone else's product or a product. It should be theirs. If they believe in themselves, and if you believe in them, I would highly suggest that you get out there and support them. And I think what we're going to be doing now is we're going to have...
No, we were saying to creating a designer line, it was $79.99 to create the whole line. And now for 30 days, we're going to go down to...
Okay, so we're gonna, I get all my packages mixed up.
$850 is just for Daytona Bike Week. That's just coming up in just a week or two.
Right. So what we're going to do for $28.50, we're going to create a line of clothing for that individual. We're going to sit down with you. We're going to do leggings. We're going to do a hoodie or a crop top or a stretch dress. So you can pick 3 different items there, and we'll combine those 3 items together, and we'll create a look for that individual. What that individual does is they walk around town, go to the gym, wherever the case may be. We will teach them how to accessorize it like Vilma does, and you can get out there and get attention and sell your product. Because if you can sell a product, others in the industry will see that you're selling. This is how you push them forward. And, we were all once young. I'm 58 years old. I understand that I knew it all when I was young. But, if I had someone that kind of pushed me in the right direction and say, hey, you got great talents here, go ahead and do it. If you have that young lady out there that just does not get a break, she's working real hard, you believe in her, and everyone else does, go ahead and reach out to us, and we can create a package for you to help that individual get out there and, sell her own product. This is a great experience.
And I just want to add that, I know that some people think that my brand is narcissistic because I wear my face on my brand. Here is where you're wrong. It might seem narcissistic, but I'll just give you one very quick example and check and add to that. We were at one of the events, a very big photography event in Las Vegas. Hundreds of thousands of people come through. I wore leggings to that event.
WPPI.
We came back to that same event next year, and I wore leggings again. Not the same, but I wore different kind of leggings. People, so many booths were saying, oh my God, you guys were here last year. Nobody else was remembered from a year before except somebody who stood out, really a lot. And out of the few people that stood out the most, I was one of them. And I get remembered everywhere I go. And why is that so important to be remembered?
It's so important to be remembered, but another thing that is even more important than that is that why you wear them and what happened. Most of you know Vilma's story. She was addicted to painkillers for almost 18, 19 years.
Painkillers are opioid like Vicodin, morphine, Dilaudid, oxycodone, and such.
She has back issues and failed surgeries. So basically, it's a huge confidence builder. And for me, and I'm going to be a little bit harsh and to the point here, and that's the way it is in this industry. If you're a model, your number one thing that you're trying to produce and present to the world is your face. For a model to think that someone like Vilma is narcissistic and that doesn't work tells me one thing. They really don't believe in themselves. They allow others to dictate basically who they are and their trajectory. When I see this situation go and I hear that nervous giggle when we're in a crowd, man, woman, or whatever, who does she think she is? You know, I know right away that that's coming from a very nervous place and they can't do it as well. So what this does is that it weeds out, Vilma wearing those leggings, it weeds out the people who can't stand to see her do what she does. So that clears the path and opens the way for people who really respect and can come to her and really see the value. So it does that. Number two, it gives her confidence. That confidence that she always had, because before she would go in, is the light okay here? Is this side okay? Does this look good? I don't like this. Now she's taking that.
Maybe I need a shorter skirt to get more attention. Now I don't need to get a shorter skirt anymore. I don't need to show my cleavage anymore because people already think I'm walking around nude with my leggings.
So, but with that said, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. But with that said, if there are any parents, any small businesses that would like someone to sponsor a young lady, partner up with them. Help them design something, and you allow that person to help you market that product and make that their product as well, and let them go out and gain that confidence. They don't have to put their face on it, but you can put your business. If you are a liquor store, we can make one leg some type of whiskey bottle. If you are a salon, we can put all kinds of beautiful cucumbers and hot rocks, on the leg, and they can walk that around with your name on there. These are walking billboards, and what better billboard on planet Earth than a woman's legs? Because people look at women's legs regardless if they have advertisement on them or not. But I want to thank you guys for listening to us. We're going to try to do this more often. This is recorded. I'm going to cut and splice and put this together to let everyone know. Please share this with someone if you feel that they can get something out of this. If you know that model in your world that is trying to make it, help them out. Send it to them, but moreover, send it to their parents. Send it to a business that they work for. So, you have anything else to say in closing?
If you imagine yourself, for example, you can even get as far as having your own line in New York Fashion Week. Imagine yourself September 2022 or February 2023 having your own clothing line in New York Fashion Week on the runway. We can help you have that.
And a lot of people will say that, but we did that this past September.
It was in our first New York Fashion Week.
But our own clothing line in it.
Oh, yes. Well, even with Latasha, FDM Fashion Week, we did our clothing line. But yes, you're right. This was, yeah.
We've done it before, but this one was really special because we had the whole line. It was our, the best of the things that we put together, and we loved it, and we videoed it. And if you go to YouTube, STTACK1, Stack 1, that's with 2 T's, and you'll find my Instagram channel. And thanks a lot, guys. Thanks for
YouTube channel, not Instagram.
Oh yeah. YouTube. Instagram, I'm Steampunk Chuck, and Instagram you are
Bellini_models.
Great. And the clothing is
VWearOnline.com.
That's VWEAR online.com.
NLINE.